Randy Orton has now been gone from the WWE for well over a year now because of his career-threatening back injury. And in that year and a bit, the WWE has continued to push forward and continued to be successful even though they've been missing one of the biggest WWE superstars of all time. In fact, in that year, the landscape of the WWE has completely changed because we've had new stars be called up from NXT to the main roster. We've had main roster members go down to NXT. We've had megastars be born who were nobodies when Randy Orton was around. We've had legends come back. We've had legends leave. So the entire landscape of the WWE is completely different, aside from Roman Reigns still being the tribal chief and still hogging the limelight at the top of the card. So when Randy Orton inevitably comes back, everyone is going to be wondering, who is he first going to feud with? Well, I'm going to give you my top 5 options for Randy Orton to have feuds with when he comes back from his injury. And hey, as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I'm confident that you're going to fall in love with this YouTube channel because we upload daily wrestling content, rain or shine, baby. I'd also like to invite you over to my Twitch page, twitch.tv/SantiZap, where we're going to be watching Crown Jewel together as a community. In fact, not only do we watch Crown Jewel there, we watch Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, NXT, and just about every major wrestling show together as a community. So if you're looking for wrestling friends to be able to hang out with while you watch wrestling, come on over to twitch.tv/SantiZap. The link is in the description. All right, let's jump into things. You know, one of the beautiful things about this whole Randy Orton saga, it's the fact that we have no clue when he's actually going to come back. Nothing has been leaked about his return. We have no idea who he's going to be feuding with, and it's actually kind of refreshing that all of these websites, YouTube channels, and tabloids have not gotten their grimy little fingers on this information. It's actually nice to be left in the dark for once, don't you think? All I'm hoping is that this information doesn't get out and that Randy Orton's return is a genuine surprise. That's all I'm asking for. All right, let's start off with the person that is at the very top of my list here, and that is, of course, the greatest of all time, John Cena. And look, I know some of you might be groaning, oh dear God, we've seen this over and over and over again, but it would be different this time because not only is this going to be the end of an era, it's going to be two titans of the industry that are coming towards the end of their career, calling it a career potentially together. Now, I would imagine that Randy Orton would continue on with his career, but I believe that if John Cena decides to have a swan song match, if he decides to have a retirement match, he's gone. He's not going to be pulling Ric Flair's coming back every other year to have a terrible match. When John Cena decides that it's over, it's over. And frankly, there is just nobody more perfect than Randy Orton to be John Cena's last dancing partner. I made a video a few days ago detailing who I think should be the one to retire John Cena and be part of John Cena's retirement match. And I listed a whole bunch of people, but realistically, the only two real viable options that I would have liked to see were either Edge or Randy Orton, or maybe a combination of the two, but Edge is now cosplaying over as an indie wrestler in AEW these days, so that's not possible, which leaves us with just Randy Orton as the most realistic, viable option to be John Cena's retirement match dance partner. And the beauty of this potential return feud for Randy Orton is that, one, it's immediately a groundbreaking, giant feud for him that would immediately put him in the spotlight again, and on top of that, he doesn't need to be a good guy or a bad guy. He could come back ambiguous. He could come back somewhere in the middle. We don't need to know where his loyalties lie. We just need to know that he's the guy who has been tasked with ending John Cena's career, because you can come back as a good guy. It doesn't matter. Regardless, you are going to be in the position to be the bad guy that is ending one of the most decorated careers in the WWE. And frankly, there are very few people that could handle the pressure of being the guy that retired John Cena. I think one of the few people is, in fact, the legend killer, Randy Orton. And I would love to see him potentially bring back that moniker for a feud with John Cena. And like I said, I know that we've seen this before, but it's not about seeing something new and something fresh. I'm going to get to those later. It's just about doing the right thing, giving John Cena the correct person to retire him. And I really believe that it's no one aside from Randy Orton. So it'd be perfect for Randy to come back and immediately jump into this feud if John Cena's plan is to have a final last match, whether it's at the Royal Rumble, or it's got to be a WrestleMania. What am I saying? Royal Rumble. It would definitely be a WrestleMania match, considering not only would it be, of course, a giant marquee match for WrestleMania, but it would be a match that we've never seen at WrestleMania. If you can believe that, those two have never had a one-on-one match at WrestleMania. So not only would it be the first time that we're seeing it, but it'd be the best way to see the last time that we're seeing it as well. All right, so if you want something a little bit more refreshing, why not Randy Orton versus Shinsuke Nakamura? Now, I know that matches between Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura exist, but a true, proper, heated feud between the two definitely does not. And I mentioned that a lot has changed since Randy Orton has come back, and one of the major changes is that Nakamura is a deadly heel now. Truly, genuinely, I believe that Nakamura should have won the World Heavyweight Championship from Seth Rollins, and I still believe that he can make major plays and a major impact in the WWE, whether it's in the upper mid card or in the main event scene. And I think a great feud for Nakamura and for Randy Orton would be them two one against one another. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Nakamura versus Randy is what I'm trying to say. And narratively, I really like the idea. We just saw Nakamura try and end Seth Rollins' career by attacking his back. And frankly, I think he did all of the right things. He put Seth Rollins through the absolute ringer. It's just that Seth Rollins turned into Super Cena there for a little bit. But who better to be a true threat to Randy Orton's career than the guy who has recently made a name for himself by going after people's livelihoods and their career in new Yakuza evil Shinsuke Nakamura. And in recent weeks, Nakamura has been doing these promos, these vignettes where he's asking for somebody to come back and challenge him. I've been memeing and saying that it's probably CM Punk, because he's been saying things like, who's going to set me free? He's been doing the GTS. I think those are all misdirections, because I think that a better option really here is Randy Orton than CM Punk. So narratively, the story has already been set in place with Nakamura asking for a new challenge, somebody to step up. And of course, him attacking Seth Rollins' back works really nicely with him potentially targeting Randy Orton's back. So I like the idea. Plus, this is, again, I know it's a match we've seen before, but it would still be fresh and brand new because Nakamura is an entirely different beast since the last time that we saw Randy Orton on television. You knew this one was gonna be on here, right? Cody Rhodes. This has to be part of Cody Rhodes' story at some point or another to go one-on-one with Randy Orton. In fact, had Randy Orton not been injured, I am 1000% sure that this feud would have happened at some point or another. Frankly, that whole Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar feud, if you really dig deep down, it made more sense for that to have been Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. It would have made more sense if it had been Randy Orton that turned on Cody Rhodes, not Brock Lesnar. Narratively, that didn't make any sense. Had it been Randy Orton, it would have been perfect. So not only should this feud have already happened had Randy Orton not gotten hurt, but it's a feud that absolutely 100% must happen in terms of helping tell Cody Rhodes' narrative as he continues to catapult himself to the very top of the mountain in the WWE. For those that might be newer to the WWE and maybe don't know much about Cody Rhodes before he left for AEW, Cody Rhodes was really brought up by Randy Orton in the main roster through a stable called Legacy, where Randy Orton was the leader and Cody Rhodes was one of the henchmen alongside Ted DiBiase Jr. You're all caught up with the history. Let's move on. So yes, the history is there. Narratively, I like it. It's a feud. It's a match that would be brand new. Cody Rhodes is a giant megastar that Randy Orton has never really laid his fingers on. Yes, they've had matches before, but again, similar to Nakamura, this is an entire different beast altogether than when they last had a match together. And in terms of megastar potential, there's really not that many matches left for Randy Orton that he hasn't had that would have this giant main event feel, and Cody Rhodes is one of the few left. So not only does it make sense narratively, but it's just a match that I would say that we're all clamoring for. Give me Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes, please. Okay, so if Randy Orton ends up coming back as a bad guy, I think that we need to see him feud with one of the top baby faces, the most popular guy guys in the WWE at the moment, the guy that everyone wants to see at the very top of the mountain right now in LA Knight. Yeah, because something tells me that there is a lot left to the rise of LA Knight left. I think he's going to be losing to Roman Reigns with some sort of shenanigans that are going to cause the fans to fall even more in love with LA Knight and endear to the point that we want no one else aside from LA Knight in the title picture. Something similar that happened with Daniel Bryan. And who did Daniel Bryan end up feuding with? Randy Orton. So it'd be a little bit of a cool retelling without it being the same people involved, but it would feel similar, which is a good thing. Feeling similar is a good thing because we like to come back to the things that we're familiar to. And it's a story as long as time itself. The guy that we want to see rise to the top being held back by an institution of the WWE in somebody like Randy Orton. Again, it's all dependent on how they decide to bring Randy Orton back to the main roster. If the plan is to bring him back as an evil, dastardly heel, then I think there's no better way to push him as the most evil person in the WWE than maybe being the one that costs him the title, maybe being the one that prevents him from getting another title shot ever again. So Randy Orton versus LA Knight narratively in terms of playing with fans' emotions makes a heck of a lot of sense. I know a lot of us want to root for Randy Orton when he comes back, but aside from his stint with RK Bro, which can't happen again because Riddle is gone, Randy has always just served better to the fans when he's a bad guy, when he is bald Randy Orton. That's the type of energy that I want to see him bring back if he ends up having a feud with LA Knight. And that'd be crazy for LA Knight if he's had rubs from the likes of Roman Reigns, John Cena, The Miz, and now Randy Orton. That'd be huge for LA Knight's momentum and his career in general. I did see somebody on Twitter throw out the possibility of RK Knight becoming a potential tag team that everyone would fall in love with, which is true, but still, I think I'd just prefer to see those two go up against one another and just LA Knight's charisma taking on Randy Orton's dastardly, just eye-piercing stare. Here's another super fresh feud for you. Why not Randy Orton versus Gunther, the ring general? And I don't think that this would necessarily even be for the Intercontinental Championship. I could see this being for a World Heavyweight Championship. I see a world where Randy Orton comes back, and one of the craziest differences between when he left, between today, is the fact that we could see Gunther as the World Heavyweight Champion by the time Randy Orton comes back. Now, unfortunately, this would likely mean feeding Randy Orton to Gunther to help legitimize Gunther as the main event heel moving forward for the next 15 years in the WWE. And that's one thing that I need fans to keep in the back of their head, that Randy Orton is at the point of his career where he is more valuable creating stars than being the star. And I think it would be, frankly, dastardly beautiful to have the former top heel in the company making Gunther the new top heel of the company moving forward. And it's a fresh match. It would be hard hitting. And Gunther, although is a very strong, stiff worker, is a very safe worker as well. And to help protect Randy Orton's back, Gunther has like 10 different finishers that don't attack Randy Orton's back. He could be Randy Orton with a splash. He could be Randy Orton with a sleeper, a submission hold, because he's the ring general. He can win 20 different ways, and I think for Randy's safety, that'd be a great option. But more than anything, it's just a brand new, fresh matchup that I would love for Randy Orton to have. Because in this last run for Randy Orton, I want to see him working with the younger talent of the future. I know I had John Cena on this list, don't get me wrong, I still want to see that, but that is a special, no pun intended here, once in a lifetime opportunity to have Randy Orton retire John Cena. That's really the only old timer feud that I want to see him have again, because frankly, I was a little bit bored and tired of the like 3-year feud that seemed that we seem to have between Randy Orton and Edge. So during this return for Randy Orton, I really want to see him feud with people we've never seen him feud before, and with younger talent like the likes of Gunther. And also, I'm not opposed for it being for the Intercontinental Championship, because Gunther has made that Intercontinental Intercontinental Championship feels so special anyway that I could totally see realistically somebody like Randy Orton trying to gun for it. It wouldn't be crazy. All right, so that's my top 5. Who would you like to see Randy Orton feud with whenever he comes back? Leave this in the comments below. Also, shout out to Matt for the idea on this video. Kudos to you, dude. And again, want to invite you to twitch.tv/SaucyZap. Link in the description below. Come join us for Crown Jewel or any other wrestling show that you want to watch with other wrestling fans. All right, that's it. I'm done. Thank you for watching and get out of here.